Hey guys, Palkia here. Welcome back to another voxlblade build showcase video. Today I'm going to be showcasing my speed build. This was the first slot I ever created, and I've worked on this build for quite a long time. Originally it was actually trash. I could run fast, but my damage was terrible, and I had to spend quite a lot of resources trying to figure out something that worked. And what I have today is what I believe to be the ultimate speed build that's actually viable in dungeons. So on my speed set, I'm going to be getting almost 150 speed, almost 22 jump boost. This is going to be faster than pretty much all players. I have not seen a player with as much speed boost than me yet. I've not seen any player that can run as fast as me yet. I get called out quite a lot in public servers for exploiting, for running so fast. People ask me all the time, what do I have to be able to run so fast? So it's super fun build. Running around is, always fun to me, being able to run around so fast. When I first started playing voxlblade and I was looking at the races, I settled on the kitsune race because, it gave speed, and from the beginning I wanted to create a build that could run fast. So on the combat set, you're actually going to be getting 120 speed boost, which is going to be more than most people's speed sets. That's the most impressive part of the build to me, the fact that on your combat set, you're going to be running faster than most people's speed sets. You're also getting 28.5 jump boost, which is pretty insane. You can just, jump on buildings with ease, get to high places with ease. It's a lot of fun just to play around with, and the damage is actually pretty decent. Now, obviously you're not going to be getting as much damage as, some of the more meta DPS focused builds, but the damage still gets up there. If you look at the DPS counter in the bottom left, I'm getting 350. I just hit 350 DPS. Now this is, of course, in optimal conditions where I can backstab, and I'm level 75, which is high level, but you can expect to regularly get over 200 DPS and, up to 350 in optimal conditions. So let's get right into it. The race is obviously going to be Kitsune for that attack speed, jump boost, and speed boost. Now for the build is expensive. I'm running 6 pieces of revved. So I have 3 pieces of revved that I'm wearing. Of course, everything is going to be enchanted with dex because this is a dex build. Infused, I have 3 more pieces of revved, so 6 pieces of revved total. Again, this is going to be an expensive build, so I would not recommend trying to build this if you don't already have resources on another slot, because rev pieces are not cheap. They're quite expensive and not easy to come by. So apart from the armor, I'm going to be running a dextrous combat roll rune. Combat roll rune gives you extra dex, of course, and the roll is just nice. Interestingly enough, the roll is actually slower than your actual move speed on the speed set. If you see that if I'm running around, I do a normal roll, everything's normal, but if I do a combat roll, I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually slower than my running speed, because I guess they didn't factor momentum in when they programmed the combat roll. So it's actually slower, which is still really cool to me because it just speaks about how fast this build is. But yeah, and then I'm going to be running the agile ring, which has, of course, extra dex, and it's enchanted with dex to give more dex and a speed boost, and then it gives the quick-witted perk, which increases my dex further based on my speed boost. So, of course, it synergizes extremely well with this build. Now, let's recall over to the shrine so I can show you what I'm using for my handle and weapon. So I'm going to be using King's Handle and the King's Blade. I've tested a couple different things. You can go Bestial as well for slightly faster speed, but King's Handle and King's Blade is going to give you the most damage. I'm running Dagger Throw, which I believe is the best weapon art, but it's mostly up to preference. But yeah, when I was making this slot, I originally tried to make a duelist. I used these two, but the build was trash and I just didn't deal that much damage, and I wasted a lot of SP, but after testing a couple things out, I eventually settled on the King's Dagger, King's Blade, and handle. And This build might not be fully optimized. You can tweak it to your preferences. You know, you can change the weapon around if you want to run a little faster or sacrifice some speed for a little bit more damage. It's up to you. And you know, I haven't really done all that much armor testing. You know, it's definitely possible that you could swap out one piece of revved infused for like another one for a bit more damage. This build is, you know, still not fully complete. This is just what I used, but you know, it definitely can be changed according to what you're looking for. So you know, this build should be more of a guideline, and you know, take inspiration from it. That's the goal. The speed build is pretty standard. You know, I've gone over speed builds in my other previous videos. Bunny ring, combat roll rune, full legendary bunny armor, and then you get a whopping 150% speed boost. It is huge, and for guilds, I'm running the Thief Guild. I went the Thief Guild for more speed, as well as backstabbing. I'm very familiar with backstabbing, but you know, for those who are not used to backstabbing, it might take a little bit to get used to, because if you're not backstabbing, you're going to be doing like pretty much no damage. Like if I'm attacking this NPC from the front, I'm not even hitting 200 DPS. If you look at the damage counter in the bottom left, I'm not even hitting 200 DPS. But if I'm backstabbing him, now my DPS just hit 360, went up to 358 for a second, 340. Again, I'm high level. This slot rather is level 75, so that's going to be pretty high level. I'm getting a damage boost from my level. But even if you're low level, you can expect to get easily over 200 DPS, assuming that you're backstabbing, and you know, under optimal conditions, and depending on how lucky you are with your golden crits, you can get, you know, easily over 300 DPS, sometimes up to 400. Depending on your golden crits again. But yeah, so I'm running 6-piece revved, agile ring, combat roll rune, everything infused with dex, of course. And then the guild is thief, but you know, feel free to join the vampire guild if you want a little bit more sustain, because this build actually gives you 0 sustain. That is one of the problems with this builds is that you know, you have 0 sustain. If you're farming or in a dungeon, you need to rely on healers, rely on inns to heal. But honestly, it's just super fun build to play around with. I'd honestly recommend trying this out. I don't think you'll find a more fun speed build out there that gives you, you know, both speed and damage. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this build showcase. I hope, you know, you're able to give it a try and find success. And yeah, take care.